series of 6 specially commissioned plays looking ahead to the future. The setting for tonight's play is the 21st century, a time of controlled and restricted activity with an ever-increasing threat of nuclear war. Crimes.
I've done a lot of bad things, but luckily people are very kind to me and they figure I'm sick. And I'm now just about better. So I'd better not do anything bad or else someone might think I was doing bad things and have me punished. Though I guess with my record, any machine would just print me out sick again. I never get sick. I never throw up. I've not got sick since I was 7. Except when they were getting me off all the stuff. But that wasn't being sick. That was part of getting well. I'm pretty well now, thank you. Well, I was born in 1982, which makes me 18. But I nearly didn't make 16, so I feel quite old. Also, my parents are dead. And that's one thing that makes you feel older. You're the next generation to go. I've known older people say that. People in their 40s and 50s. When their parents die, that's what stops them being kids and realize it's their turn next. But I've seen that already, so I'm familiar with nature's laws like a wise old person. Except, of course, it wasn't so much nature's laws in the case of my mummy and daddy, because that was one of the bad things I did.
You see, Jane knows she did bad things. That's why we're able to help her get better.
I would like to thank Dr. Schwartz and the International Research Institute for Drug Abuse and Rehabilitation. My therapy was quite tricky. Apparently, I had a real bad time in the birth canal. There's a lot of people bad-mouth Dr. Schwartz. And young people my own age demonstrate against him and say he's been aborting transsexual babies. But I say if a woman doesn't want to bear a queer, she doesn't have to. And anyway, I don't concern myself with that side of Dr. Schwartz's work. All the genetic engineering's in another wing of the hospital entirely. And I have never personally met a single one of these alleged clones. And I don't believe it. I did know a boy once claimed to be a clone, but I only met the one of him, so who's to tell? Dr. Schwartz to me means getting better. He means freedom. He means walking down the street all alone, smelling the spring air. There are other people object to Dr. Schwartz, old people, and they object to him making dangerous monsters like me fit to walk the streets and mingle in the supermarket and maybe smile at their children in the park. And those people are people I hate. Except I don't hate these days. Except in a manner of speaking. I say the word hate. I don't feel hate. Hate is something else, which I felt for my parents and a few other people I apparently confused with my parents when under the influence of a few things I'm no longer under the influence of. But I object to these people who say I shouldn't be walking the streets because I am no longer any kind of danger to anyone. I stopped killing people over 2 years ago. I have been off drugs entirely for 6 months. With the prison overcrowding what it is it half the population? 3/4 is in prison or a hospital sometime in their lives? 95% is it? I can't remember figures. With so many people, they should be thankful we're out on the streets and not inside there rioting. We'd all be up on the roof.
Quite witty.
I would like to thank Dr. Schwartz and the International Research Institute.
Don't fall off the ladder, Veronica.
Which regards me as quite a prize guinea pig.
How are the curtains getting on?
Nearly finished.
I showed Jane to a new group of prisoners
From
yesterday.
a technical point of
People
view.
were quite impressed.
She's very
When my mind's a
impressed.
bit clearer, I'd like to study.
It should do
and
some
be able
good.
to help other people like they've helped
Just
me.
running it through.
What I'd really like is to be a research worker at the Institute. And for that, I'd need a degree in computer studies, and a degree in medicine, and a degree in psychiatry, and a degree in electronics. And I never even got my average attendance certificate. Not that I'm not clever. They all say that. But it's true. I am clever. I am cunning. Several people have said that in court. Welfare officers, psychiatrists. I could have been a very famous, unsolved mass murderer, if that's where my ambitions have lain. But I'm also an exhibitionist. Or was. This is all in the past. I liked people knowing it was me. After I'd set my parents' house on fire and no one guessed it was me, I killed those other people purely so I would get caught and everyone would know it was me and pay me some attention. I read an article in a Sunday supplement which said we are all suffering from lack of attention. Gave me as an extreme example. And other people, of course. Stars, presidents, other people who like a lot of attention. I'd like to be a household word. I'd like to be in a nursery rhyme, like Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. But I guess it's not the kind of thing you can make up about yourself. It either happens or it doesn't. Still, what's fame anyway, I ask myself. I try to ask myself. Now, my parents were perfectly normal people, and I had a happy childhood. I grew up in the Great Depression of the 80s, and my parents were both employed throughout. My mother had advanced office skills, so she's often told me how when all the young girls lost their jobs, typing and filing, or whatever it was you did in those days, with pieces of paper, I believe it was, and took up a lot of room, which is why they needed all those blocks which got blown up and set on fire and squatted in and so forth. Anyway, when all that happened, she was in there at the top with the few who kept level with the newest, whatever they were called then, word processors, which were kind of the dinosaurs of the think centers. Maybe she slept with a few people, because of course the pressure was really on then for women to stay home. And naturally, if there's jobs, it's fathers of the families who get the first pick. And men do things better, don't they? Though, in fact, I'm second to none when it comes to my own line. Though that's in the past, of course, now. But, as I say, my mother did keep working 2 hours a day. And, of course, there's a lot of people try and make that out as an explanation of me. But I don't feel accounted for too much. And my father certainly earned a lot of money because he was a mathematical genius. Say no more. So, when the worst times came, he was one of the 2 million still employed. Holidays in Peru.
I'd like to go to Peru.
I enjoyed Peru.
Wouldn't you? Do you remember the beach that winter in Chile?
Well, poor little rich girls do go crazy, I guess. And all those people out there throwing things. And it taking longer to cross London than fly the Atlantic, and 10 times as dangerous. Never being let out alone because little rich girls get mugged and raped. And of course, where would I end up at 14 but mugged, raped, living in the disused tube tunnels of the old Northern Line with all the people I was meant to be frightened of? I didn't want to be frightened. I wanted to be frightening.
I think we've all felt that way at times, haven't we? It's a very destructive feeling.
After I'd watched my parents' house burn down, I had this very strong visual thing of flames flickering, even with my eyes shut. Lasted several days. I was taking a lot of rubbish, of course. I know now that it was wrong to kill my parents, and I know they were good people. It was only when I ran out of money I started mugging, and I do quite a lot of different sex things for money. Not anything, but most things, because by then, of course, I needed all that poison which only Dr. Schwartz has got me free from. I burned down some more houses because I never believed I'd done it, and the number of dead people apparently got quite high, which is what I owed my fame to in the newspapers, such as it was. But in scientific journals, of course, there's a different kind of fame. Not such a wide readership, but more elite. But finally, I just had to get them to take notice. I had to just stand there till after the fire engines had gone. And I kept telling the policeman it was me, and he thought I was crazy. So, they took me in and started paying me attention. And this is where my luck comes in. I have a lucky charm, by the way. I'm one of the people who prays to a god of their own making and keeps it in their pocket at all times. I did literally hand-make my own. I wouldn't buy someone else's, though I know a lot of people live by making gods. And a lot of my friends in the tunnel lived off that. And if I hadn't my own, I'd get a tunnel god, because at least they're made by hand. I wouldn't have one of these mass-produced ones, because whatever you think of making, they take it away and make 1,000,000 of them in a minute. So you have to understand, those ones aren't true. My father had a god with diamonds, gave my mother for the wedding anniversary, but of course they didn't believe in it, so it didn't work. But mine was true, and it worked for me. And I won't tell you what it's made of or what it's called, because that's all a holy secret, and I hope your god's a holy secret too.
Got any secret gods, Veronica?
So,
Would it help me to sleep?
my god brought me luck, because I could have been made a vegetable. The numbers inside, how else can they deal with them? But maybe because I was a bit famous, or because I came from a good family, or because I was pretty, or because of my God. The Institute took me up. And maybe one day they can do it for everyone. And all the people inside can be free like me.
Now, please pay particular attention.
Because already it's not just me. There are hundreds of us. But of course all the people who do bad things are thousands and thousands. And people sometimes argue about whether you're mad or bad. But as Dr. Schwartz says, what does it matter why they do these things? Let us just stop them doing them, says Dr. Schwartz. I wish all the tunnel people and street people and killers and gorillas could be taken in and have an electrode like I've got, because then they let you out and you feel safe because they're paying attention to you all the time. How it works is, wherever I go, they only have to press my number and my exact whereabouts is flashed on the screen. A map of the exact part of the city where I am and a little flashing light which is my exact location. And as I walk about, the little light moves on the screen. So anytime they want me, they know exactly where I am. And if anyone got hurt in some place, or some money got stolen, they put a map of that place and press a button, and whoever's been there, the light comes on. So if I tried anything, they'd know straight away it was me, and then they'd take me in. And I don't want that, do I? As they say. But what's even better than that, and makes me feel like I'm a real partner with Dr. Schwartz, is anytime I want something I shouldn't have, like some of the rubbish, or just to see those flames flicker again, I have this little button on my wrist, and I can give myself this little electric shock, which isn't too bad, but just puts me off whatever it was I wanted, and kind of reminds me of the kind of shock Dr. Schwartz gave me when he was helping me. And if I can't manage, I can call for help with this other little button. And they can knock me out straight away, wherever I am, till they can get to me, take me in, and give me some more attention. So, that's how I'm able to walk the street freely and not be locked up, which is real backward. And there's no need if you can control yourself.
Well, I think that's very interesting and very encouraging, what Jane has to say about her experience.